in place for at least another 6 days. We know that the Biden administration arguing that there is no need for the COVID-19 era public health measure to remain in place, but that they need another 6 days to get ready for the thousands of migrants amassing right now on the Mexican side of the southern border.
Everyone's wanting to know what that plan is. Joining us now, the governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson. Sir, welcome back. President Biden standing by ending Title 42, asking the Supreme Court to let it expire, and that the public health reason behind the policy is no longer valid. I want to get your reaction to this.
Well, first of all, this is a terrible tragedy. It's a human tragedy. And every signal from the Biden administration has been wrong. It has been misguided and confusing. I mean, now he asked the Supreme Court to end Title 42, but then don't do it until after Christmas. And the fact is, it's inconsistent with the position the Biden administration has taken on extending the public health emergency when it comes to Medicaid and prohibiting the states from moving people off of Medicaid if they don't meet the income requirements anymore. So they continue the public health emergency when it comes to Medicaid, but wants to end it when it comes to border security. There's three things I think they ought to do. First of all, they need to extend the public health emergency, Title 42, through April, which is at least as long as when the Medicaid is going to continue on their public health emergency. That gives you time to do a border security bill through Congress that needs to concentrate on border security, and we're going to have to put off the comprehensive immigration reform because we have to secure the border first. And then third, we have to engage Mexico to a greater extent. We have to be able to go after the cartel. We need their help to do it. Many of these migrants are coming from Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Cuba, and they are just transiting Mexico and utilizing that as a staging ground to come to the United States. We've got to enlist them, push them more to help us to stop that flow of migrants that's coming into the United States in an uncontrolled way.
Governor, I like what you just said because that's a concrete plan.
Yeah, you have a plan.
We oftentimes don't hear anything concrete from members on both sides of the aisle. We have members of Congress on Wake Up America every single day. Rarely do we get a concrete plan like that. That sounds like something that a candidate for president would put together. You have talked about this a lot. If you are going to make an announcement and get into this race, when would you do so?
Well, the answer is the first quarter of next year. I've got to make a decision. It's a short runway until you get to Iowa and the debates, and so you've got to make a decision in that time frame. But let me go back to the specifics on the border security. I've actually had to deal with that as head of the DEA. I've had to deal with it when I was at Homeland Security, and so I know the complexity of the challenge. I spent some time thinking about this. And we have to do those things that I outlined. So it's that issue, but it's also the issues of violent crime in our streets that really motivate me to bring the rule of law back to America, where it is more meaningful and really gives us the public safety that we deserve as a great country.
Yeah, you know, Governor, you mentioned the DEA, and so they just released their new numbers when it comes to the seizure of fentanyl. So they say that they've gotten 379 million deadly doses of fentanyl in 2022. We don't hear the Biden administration talking about this crisis enough. Want to get your thoughts on that, and how do we stop this?
Well, absolutely. They need to address it more aggressively. It is killing our young people all across the country, and whenever you look at the fentanyl coming in, the largest seizure that we've made was at a port of entry. And so they're smuggling it in. So we have to tighten up, not just between the ports of entry, but also specifically to stop those smuggling routes. And again, it's the cartel.
Yeah.
And so they have to address it. We've got to put pressure on China, use leverage with them, because that's where much of the fentanyl is coming from. And the precursor chemicals, but also it's the cartels that are actually producing it in Mexico now. We have got to increase our public messaging from a public health standpoint, but also increase our enforcement.
Governor, tight on time. What do you think do you think the Supreme Court extends this another 90 days or another 120 days? And also, first quarter ends in March. You're saying that you'll have a decision before the end of March, 2023.
Yes, you got to make a decision by then. And so that's my intent, to make a decision and we'll continue to evaluate between now and then. In terms of the Supreme Court, I don't know the answer to that from a legal standpoint. Obviously, you can make a case that the public health emergency should be extended whenever they're extending it in another arena, whether it's student loans or Medicaid. So
Right.
I hope that they adopt that argument and continue it, but we'll see.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, come back and see us. If we don't see you, have a great Christmas. Look forward to a great 2023 as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. A lot more coming up on Wake Up.